was like, oh,
Hello, welcome to the Sovereign Magazine show, a transformational experience where conscious conversations meet embodied wisdom. Each episode invites visionary healers, thought leaders, change makers to share their journeys of awakening, offering listeners practical tools and soul-stirring insights to reclaim their inner authority. We have the beautiful Ebonie Allard back with our series on the Kismet Codes, embodying your design. And if you missed all 7 of the foundational episodes, go back and listen to those. We talk about everything from human design to kismet codes to all sorts of wonderful things. Today, we are talking about embodying your full potential and understanding your karma, dharma, and purpose. So, without further ado, here is Ebonie, who's going to introduce herself.
I knew you were going to say that. And I was like, okay, what am I going to say about myself this time? Because it's constantly changing and in evolution. Um, and what I'm going to say this time is that I am an energy alchemist, an embodiment specialist, and an empowerment facilitator who just really enjoys sharing my unique insight, um, mostly with wisdom keepers, culture makers, and embodiment guides, and helping them, you, whoever's listening or watching, to really remember who you really are and live more fully, more deeply, and lead authentically. Because when we are full of ourselves is when we can become fully fulfilled. And these tools that I love to share alongside storytelling and anecdotal sharing of things like this is what makes it personal and makes it relatable and makes it real and tangible in our lives. And so, what we're going to talk about today is some like big concepts that have fancy pants names, but actually are to do with purpose and the meaning and all of those kind of big questions that we all have. And bring what I want to do is kind of bring that into a more practical, pragmatic, embodied sense rather than just this kind of blue sky thinking philosophy.
Mm, okay, well, do share more. I, I
Okay.
I thought you were going right into it.
No, I was like, this is going to be conversational. Otherwise, it's just going to be really heady. But um, let's begin with full potential.
Okay.
Okay, so full potential is something that people say to me all the time, right? The two big things people come to me for is I want to make sure that I'm living my purpose and I want to make sure that I'm like living my full potential.
Mhm.
And these things are a lot simpler than they sound. So, our purpose is to generate a frequency and give it away.
Hmm. Okay.
What do I mean by that? Well, we
Yeah.
talked about the value filter before, right? And the value filter is based on things that we value. And they're measures that we're using to tell whether or not our life is turning out as we want it to, but they're based on experiences of feeling happy and content and satisfied and fulfilled. And when we are being the version of ourselves that is content, happy, fulfilled, satisfied, then we generate a very unique, specific signature frequency.
Mhm.
And when we express ourselves, however authentically, right, in our unique signature frequency, that is us living our purpose. It's that simple. And one of the really cool things about being human is that we all have, we are a soul fractal living in a human form.
Mhm. Mhm.
And each one of us, our soul fractal is completely unique. And so, how that shows up is our signature frequency. It's our signature vibration, like the way that we move our bodies, the way that if somebody else were to inhabit my skin and bone and body, they would smile differently and they would move their fingers differently, right? Like my signature frequency does this inside me. And
Mhm.
when I show up full of myself in my signature frequency and I express, I'm doing so for the highest and greatest good of all because then my electromagnetic field through my expression is calling in people who are attracted to and can be mirrors, messengers, and medicine for me, and vice versa, and repelling those that just aren't on a similar path or have contracts with me or each other.
Yes.
Great.
Yes, that makes a lot of sense for sure.
Okay. So it's really that simple. Like our purpose in life is to generate a frequency and give it away. And what happens is that we homogenize. So we are our unique frequency, and then we go out in the world and we become, our mirror neurons fire and we become more like each other.
Mm.
If you put a number of grandfather clocks in a room next to each other, and you release the pendulum in one, and then the next one, and then the next one, at the beginning of the day, they are ticking in their own rhythm. By the end of the day, they will have found their way into ticking together.
Mm.
That is how frequency works. And that is what we do as human beings. We wake up in the morning, or not if we've slept with somebody else, or not, or whatever, but it's our job. This is why I say every single day, get into your value filter, do what you need to do to get back into your signature frequency and vibration, because
Mhm.
then you're being the grandfather clock in your life, and then you will call in what is meant for you. But by the end of the day, we've all kind of rubbed energy. And so then we're a bit blended with each other. And so then we've lost ourselves a little bit.
100%.
So that is the first piece, right?
Okay.
And then in the gene keys, there is a sphere called the purpose sphere. And that is your unconscious earth.
Okay.
And so your particular purpose has a flavor. It has a shadow, a gift in a city, or a seed, a bloom, and a fruit.
Okay. Okay.
And that can be really useful for us because it really speaks to what our purpose is. And your full potential is the highest frequency of that.
Okay.
And so there is what, why I love this is it can be as simple as be yourself, but that can be really unhelpful if you don't know who you are. And one of the ways that we can come back to ourselves is by getting these little specific pieces of information. But if it then becomes really heady, then we've
Mhm.
gone too far into the specific pieces of information and it gets more about living our lives again.
Yes. Yes. This is making a lot of sense.
Good. And my purpose sphere is in gate 28, which is the purposeful player and is all about purpose. So no wonder people come to me to learn about purpose, right? And
Okay.
the kind of gift of that is totality.
Mm.
And for a long time, I was like, what does totality mean? And we can contemplate it, right? The shadow I got, the shadow is purposelessness. I'm like, yeah, I know what that feels like. I experienced that seed. But totality, the highest expression is immortality. And I'm like, so my full potential is immortality? Like, what does that mean? And that can be these things like, living your purpose, your full potential. They are big and vast. And we're not supposed to figure it out. We're supposed to live it.
Mm.
And the more I've been living it, the more I'm like, oh, totality, full range, full of yourself. Like it's the clues are in the words I say and the way that I communicate all the time. Like it's not that complicated.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, that one's really deep. That one is definitely, I can see the seed that needs to be planted that then needs the correct soil, then that needs the correct water and the correct um, sun in order to understand the vastness of the totality, right? Like I was just going with you step by step through that and how you and I were talking about earlier, how even though we're the same age, I feel like energetically you're like 5 or 10 years ahead of me and just like so much wiser in certain areas. And I can see that with this gate 28, like your ability to see the breadth and the depth of something is just so wide.
Thank you. And it is because Gate 28 is immortality. It's like I have on some level been here before a lot, right? And
Well,
I always used to think, oh, that sounds so arrogant to say it, but to see it then written
yeah.
is kind of life affirming. And that for me again is like part of why this work is so beautiful, because it's not about, one my favorite compliment about Embody Your Design, or anytime I work with everyone and it gets repeated over and over, is, oh my God, it's all just written there in black and white. It's not about me, it's not about my ego, right? It's not about me I didn't make this stuff up, I just translate it, you know.
Yeah, yeah. And the way that I thought about it when you said that about your immortality was
Yeah.
this energetic imprint that you have been making. That's the immortal part, right? Like you might leave this earth. We'll just say might, because we know that it's true, but you might leave this earth
I'm
someday.
good with it because I've got gate 28, right? Like
Yeah,
gate
yeah.
28 is the fear of death, but also the fear of living. And when you can move through both of those fears, it's like that's the whole point. And that's what my purpose is for me to really contemplate. And I do that in relationship with others. Anyway, carry on with saying what you were going to say.
Oh, just that even though your spirit will exit this physical flesh of someday and
Yes.
move around to somewhere else, your imprint of what you did in this earth will forever be here, right? So that's the immortal part that I was envisioning for you is that even though your soul will need to inhabit another human skinned vessel someday, or maybe something else, maybe it'll be a tree, who knows? Then your immortality is left in all of the lives and other souls that you have touched who have then gone on to learn about their value filter and embodying their design, right? So that's the immortality part of it that I was seeing was that like almost like when I imagine like you spreading out all of these electrical currents into the universe and connecting into people all around the world, right? It's like the vastness of the universe.
And so for me, that image is um, when we take a flame or a candle or a match and we light another match, it doesn't burn this one out, right? It just lights the next one. And so my work in the world, that immortality is switching lights on. And if I go switch on, like for me, it used to be like, oh my God, I can never stop because there's so many flames I want to light. I want people to remember their spark, right?
Mhm.
And my my Mercury, which is our relating sphere, is gate 53, which is the card I drew with the match and the spark. And it's all about lighting sparks. And so this is why our purpose is not just one sphere, it's all of these different pieces, right? Um, but for every flame that I've lit, then that person and their flame has lit another five. And then each one of those is another and another and another. And that for me is like, wow, I don't have to do it all, right? And this is a beautiful segue because 53, which is my Mercury, is in a channel with gate 42, which is your purpose.
Oh, okay.
And so gate 42 is, I call it the experienced asset, right? So also like this wisdom piece, right? But it's different because whereas 53 is the starter, it's the spark, it's immaturity actually. And so I've got this immaturity in my relating and then this like depth of immortality in my purpose. And that is part of the contrary nature of my full potential and all of it, right? Like my purpose and my Dharma, and we'll get to those things. Yours, 42, is the other end of the channel with 53. And so together, they make a channel that is called the channel of maturation.
Hmm.
And So code 53, the innocent initiator, and code 42 make the channel of maturation, which creates an experiential understanding of cycles and evolution to create the way for the new and balanced development, which is what we do together. It's really beautiful, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
So your purpose is so this is growth and accomplishments. And the thing about the experienced asset is it knows when to end cycles. And it has done, like, it's completed a lot of things. And it can feel like nothing ever stays, right? Like
yeah.
everything ends, right? Everything completes, finishes, dies, whatever, however you want to put it. But the
Yes.
real gift is that the 42 knows that when something dies, it makes way for new life.
This is exactly me.
And the shadow is expectation, right? And so the expectation of, I wanted this to last forever, or I expected this to go a certain way, or, right? That's the shadow.
Mm-hmm,
The gift of it is detachment. And so when we let go of the outcome being a certain thing, the siddhi, the highest expression or the fruit, is celebration.
mm-hmm.
And when the 42 is able to really be in that place of celebrating every ending because it happened in the first place, oh, we did this, we had this opportunity, we had this opportunity, then it really is such an incredible guide or person to have on your team, because it's the very thing of like, oh yeah, I've done that, I can support you, or oh yeah, there's nothing that phases a 42 because they've lived through it all and they're able to celebrate it exactly as it is, and that's your purpose.
This is so interesting and so validating because
Mm-hmm.
so often, especially in business, there's so many things that end, right? So many things shift and change. And
Mm-hmm.
every time it does, I get excited because I'm like, oh, what's next? What's new? I love shifting things up and changing things and looking at it from a different perspective. And oh, I didn't expect that to happen. Okay, how can we, move this around?
And it's in the sacral. And so rather than, I was having, without getting into nitpicking, there's a lot of confusion, I think, about the sacral, that people will describe it as excitement. Excitement is solar plexus because that's an emotion, but sacral is lit up. And so for you, it's like, again, we're back to this light lit, right? Like
Mhm.
actually, every time you're like, oh, I'm on fire, or like it lights something in you from the inside. And that is, yeah, that's part of your purpose. And so, whereas my purpose is to help people discover their purpose or to feel purposeful, yours is to help people celebrate it all and to let go of the expectation of how they thought it would go, and instead like really enjoy all of it, like every single iteration.
This is so true. And my daughter always says, Mommy, that's not very helpful in this moment because I celebrate every aspect of it, the hard bits, the easier bits, all of it. And she always, I don't want to say I'm toxically positive. I mean, yes, I am toxically positive, but I don't like to admit that. But here I am,
Well,
I'm admitting
so
it.
the thing about the experience asset is that middle piece, detachment. And that's, it's not, I might the difference between non-attached and detached, I think, are probably semantics, but it's not about, it's like when I explained to my niece when she's like, I don't care. I'm like, you do care, which is why you're saying I don't care. What you mean is I'm not attached to that. And so this thing is like, you do care, but what the experienced asset has is a sense of detachment from either outcome, right? Success, yay. Failure, yay. It's all a yay because I wasn't attached to it going one way or the other.
Mhm. And I always feel as though, how can I explain it? I look at failures as opportunity. I look at success as opportunity. I see them both as the same. I don't make one way or the other a good or a bad.
And so this is where we get back into embodying your full potential, because potential, when people come and they say to me, am I living my purpose? I want to live my full potential. It's like they can get an A star at it and someone's going to give them a pat on the head and a medal, right? And that's not what full potential means. Full potential means all of the good stuff and all of the shadow side too, right? And we have to be okay with and not be like, I'll be okay if everything goes great, but I won't be okay if it doesn't, right? When we are manifesting anything, when we're truly in this place of embodying this whole experience, the only way that we get to experience true abundance is if we are open to the experience of the absence of it.
Mm.
The only way we will ever experience being truly embodied is to also have or be available for the experience of complete disembodiment or disassociation, or you know, right. and
Mhm.
and so like for the law of, I guess, quantum mechanics, for everything there is an equal and opposing force. And so full potential and embodying your full potential means living in the dance of the full range and not being like statically trying to hold on to one state, but
Mhm.
actually dancing with life.
Yeah. I feel like I just had this exact experience. So let's just put it in time. I don't live in time, but if I had to quantify time, let's say 4 months ago,
Yeah.
riding high, everything's great. And then I was in this holding pen for like 2 months, like really stagnant energy, like just very confused, foggy, unsure, disconnected from my spirit team, like what's going on. I was trying to figure everything out. And I was like, I'm just going to sit with this more. Now I'm coming out of that, right? I'm coming back into a different realm. And I didn't make it mean something. I didn't fall out of trust, but of course there were times of doubt, right? I'm like, what the heck is going on? Nothing makes sense to me right now. I'm usually very, very clear in what I'm being given, but this 2 months was like, I had no idea what was going on. And so, and even like sales in the business weren't validating me. And like there was just this fog. And I was like, okay, well, it's not related to money or success or anything like that. I got like 3 sales in a day and that did nothing. I'm like, okay, so it's not that. And I finally figured out that it was related to getting clearer on my purpose, on Sovereign's purpose.
And I think that, and I love that you had that experience, because for me, what you're describing is a maturing of an embodiment of your authority, which is emotional, and you have two waves, and you're a generator. And so a generator has this step stair relationship with satisfaction where it hits a plateau of stagnation. And so you experience it as your not self, right? Which is, there's just no joy here, right? Like it's just flat. That's the
Mhm.
not self for an emotional authority, kind
Mhm.
of on a low for a while. And some people would then try and rush that experience to find the high again. But clarity for an emotional generator comes through consistency over time and being comfortable in the discomfort of the feelings of meh, right?
Meh. Yeah.
And what they actually say, and what I really think is very important, is that for most emotional authorities, what they're doing is every time you get money, it's like yay, yay. Like what money does is, or dopamine, it basically activates an emotional high.
Mhm.
And until money does nothing, right? Like if I have some, I don't have an emotional reaction. If I don't
Yep.
have any, I don't have an emotional reaction. It's only when you're in that place that you're actually deconditioned your emotional center to a place of going, you know what? I get to ride my wave, and my wave is separate from life.
That is so true because I am so detached from it at the moment. And I have had this Attachment to it in some ways, but also very detached because I feel money is a frequency versus a tangible item. Like most of the time, I don't check my bank account because I just trust energetically it'll be there, regardless of what's happening in the business and sales and all of that. I just,
Because the business doesn't pay you, the universe does, right? And
right.
that is when we are being in our purpose, when we are embodying our full potential, then we are creating an environment for us to attract into our attraction field that which is for us and not. And so to keep it moving with the rest of the content I wanted to get in the small amount of time so that it makes more sense, when we embody our full potential and we understand our karma, our dharma, and our purpose, that then we are really in a relationship with life. And one of the things you and I both have the 59-6, which is the relating, the channel of relating. And I have been saying to quite a few people recently over the last couple of days, and if you look at my astrology chart and you look at this one, it's all about relationships. But I've never felt like a relationship coach, guide, facilitator, because I've always been more like I don't have a shiny one that I can say, this is the result that you will get, right? Like I don't have that. And so therefore, because of the way the world works, I haven't pursued that potentially. But when I actually look at my purpose, which is in my wiring, right? And my karma and my dharma, and we'll look at that again in a second, it is about relationships, the relationship, the most important one you have in your whole life, the one with you, right?
Mhm.
And then the relationship with your work, the relationship with your family, the relationship with your friends, the relationship you have with life itself. All of these things, the relationship with your health, with your aging, with your resource, it is all relational. And understanding that, again, it's been like a huge part of this journey for me of like, okay, it's all written here. If we want specifics, if I want my incarnation cross is the left angle cross of distraction. So if I want to not be distracted by shiny thing, shiny thing, shiny thing, there's reasons magpies on my body, then I need to come back to a structure that will support me. And in our activation sphere, we've got our sun, and then we drop down, we've talked about it before, into the evolution, which is the challenge of our life, but it grounds us. And for me, that is limitation. And so again, it's like, oh, I need a structure that's going to limit me from looking everywhere. And so it's all there, it's all written into this. People often talk about karma and dharma. And I have a mini course which is called Decoding Your Soul Contract. And it's very short. And it kind of gives you all the different ways that you can look at this, right? And so I explain that Dharma is the key to fulfilling your soul's calling. It's what you signed up for, it's what you want most. And when you're completely in flow and you embody your Dharma, like everything just comes, right? Like you get life and you feel purposeful, and although it sometimes feels like a struggle, it's like it's the exact thing that you need in that moment. And I give people instructions where I'm like, look at your purpose sphere, look at your evolution, look at your vocation, look at your rising sign. This is going to give you information, right? And then I talk about your path number, and I talk about when the month you were born, and your in numerology, that's your karma number. And we look at all of these different pieces. And one thing that every single one of these modalities or philosophies have in common is that they all talk about karma and dharma and purpose, but they all say it's something different. And for me, it doesn't really matter which modality you look at, the same themes are going to come up.
Right.
And one of the reasons that I love the gene keys particularly and really kind of go in on it is that we have our in the Venus sequence. So we've talked before about the activation, which is the first one that we do, which is our incarnation cross. The next one is the Venus sequence. And the Venus sequence is divided into two parts. And the first part is purpose to attraction sphere, and then from attraction sphere to what is called your IQ. And the whole of the Venus sequence is about opening to love and receiving love, and opening for abundance or love, whichever way, and the nature of our individual struggle, or the things that have us fear, closing, contracting. And
Mhm.
again, it's all written there in black and white. It's very, very clear. So we start in our purpose and then we come up into our attraction. And our attraction is our unconscious moon. And this is the frequency that is pulling people into our field.
Mm.
Mine's in gate 33. I call that the wisdom keeper, and it's no, I'm like, oh, no wonder I'm attracting wisdom keepers, medicine women, right? It's like sometimes it's wisdom keepers, sometimes it's the shaman, sometimes, and so when I call them wisdom keepers, energy embodiment for guides or facilitators, or like culture makers, that's what the shaman would have been. Again, I've been saying it but not quite getting the words right for years, but it's literally written there very clearly. This is who I'm meant to attract. Richard then calls the pathway between your purpose and your attraction sphere your Dharma.
Mm.
And our Dharma is to bring our purpose to those people that are attracted into our life. And it's all about how we behave in relationships. And in relationships, we create drama, which we get to transmute into Dharma. And so
Mm.
the exact relationships that we attract in are perfect, like in combination with our purpose, create that's what our life's work is. That's what our Dharma is. Does that make sense?
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
And then the second part of that, so our attraction to our IQ, and our IQ is like our intelligence, right? And that is that pathway is called our karma.
Okay.
And so the types of people, like we have relationships and then we try and rationalize it, right?
Okay.
And we try to make it make sense. We're back in that place of, to be alive is traumatic and the whole experience is traumatic and dramatic, and we try therefore, and rather than feel it, rather than hold the discomfort of rationalizing it or explaining it or understanding it, and that part of our karma is to find mastery in that which is difficult.
Mm. Holy moly, that is complicated.
It sounds complicated, but it's happening all the time.
It is because we're in
And you're living it
relationship.
every single day.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I wanted to bring words to it is that sometimes people are like, so what exactly is my karma? And they think that karma is punishment. Or like, what is this thing? And it's like, no, it's an area of difficulty for you that you get to work through in relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And relationship doesn't mean romantic relationship. It means you and I are working through our karma right now in some way, right? Like we are, and that is what it is. People out there like to talk about sister wound, mother wound, father wound. Like we just like to make problems so we can sell solutions over and over again. But if we really look at it, we come back to purpose. Your purpose is to generate your signature frequency and to give it away,
Mm.
to be in relationship with other people, to get homogenized into like blending, and then go, no, I'm going to go separate and be me again. And that's it. So, yes, the words are complicated, but the process, or the process itself, be yourself, show up, get triggered, work through it, do it all again.
That's very simple. Got it.
It's not that complicated, right? Like it really, really isn't. We like to put big, that's the IQ, right? We like to put big, fancy words on it to like, look at me, I'm being a grown up. Whatever. Show
Yeah.
up, be yourself. Observe, like, oh, this person's triggering me. Why are they triggering me? What have they got that I don't have? Or like, why is this making me feel a certain way? Actually, what is the certain way and where do I feel it? It's just that simple.
Mm. I love your explanations. You always make things so much better in my mind and body for me. All right. We are going to be having another episode about embodying your personal timing, rhythms, and understanding the codes of the root center next time. So if you're enjoying this series, definitely like, share, subscribe. All of Ebonie's details are in the show notes. If you don't know anything about embodying your design, she has some free resources for you, which are also linked down there as well. And we will see you on the next one. Thank you so much for being here, my love.
Thank you. I am going to add from here on, for most of the rest of the episodes, we are going into a specific center. And so the next one is the root, and that's our base. And I'm going to talk about it through a lens, through all the lenses. And so, yes, we'll look at the center. Yes, we'll look at the root, but we'll also look at like, what does that correlate? How does that correlate with safety or the oneness of things? And so it's going to be really fun and different from you've heard anywhere else.
As always, it's always fun to be with you and be in your energy. All right, we can't wait. See you on the next one.
Bye. Bye.